Hello, this is Professor Papier Bernstein, and this is lecture number 3. And during this brief lecture, I'm going to introduce you to the way that I've set up this course on Blackboard, which is, I think, pretty easy. So if you're looking at your Blackboard course, SPV 430 right now, you'll see that it says start here, and that's simply an announcement about making sure that your email is correctly connected with Blackboard. And then there's something that says your professor, and if you click on that, it's just a picture of me and a brief statement, which ties in with one of your first discussion boards that you'll be hearing about it in another lecture, where basically it's an introductory discussion board. So this is my little introduction to you. Then what's very, very important is announcements, and you'll be getting ongoing announcements from me. Things will be posted on there. If there's any news that I want to give you to all of the students, I will put it on there. I will start posting announcements a couple of weeks before the start of the course. And so you'll be sure and you'll check that. Then the link for course documents, and I already reviewed in an earlier lecture, I believe it was lecture number 2, I went through all of the course documents in that, so I'm not going to do that again. Then the next is your discussion boards, and you have a number of discussion boards. There's one for class introductions, there's a general one about questions, and this is used for basically any time that you have questions about anything that's not personal, of course. You would post it on the Q&A discussion board, and this way my answer and your question would be viewed by all students. And then you have something about observation arrangements. If you depending upon what actually happens, and we still don't know what the options are going to be, but if you have anything that you want to say about your arrangements, you could do that. And then starts all of the graded discussion boards. They're all dated. They're due by the date. They're all worth 2 points, and you should know that for each of your discussion boards, you have to make 2 postings, an original posting and then a response to a student or a number of students, and you will get 2 points for that. So there are 2 mandatory discussion boards that basically have to do with the external links, and then 6 topic discussion boards. And then there are some extra credit things on there that we don't have to go through now, but I usually give you opportunities to make up some points that you may have lost during the semester. Okay, alrighty, and then after discussion board you have external links, and there are a number of external links that I may be referring to. Some of these are articles, most of them are really just resources for you. And we'll be talking more about that. Then you have something called assignments, and the assignments are where you're going to upload your observation reports. So we'll be talking more specifically about that, but you will, if let's say 5 reports are due on a particular date, you would put all of the reports together, each one having a separate cover sheet. And those reports would be scanned. You would scan them as one document and then attach it to this link. And I think once you get familiar with it, it'll be a little easier. Another requirement, as you probably already know, is a presentation of just a 3 to 5 minute, 6-minute presentation on something that you've been assigned. Your assignment is listed on one of the documents that's in your course documents. That's the presentation topics, and each one is labeled presentation number 1, presentation number 2, etc. The chapter like chapter 5.3, which would be point 3 in chapter 5. If you look at the table of contents or the table of contents document that you have, it'll be very easy to understand where the information is located. You can get the page numbers from your textbook. The next is, so that's your presentation blog, and you would upload your presentation, whatever it is. If it's an audio, if it's audio and visual, if it's a PowerPoint, there are different things that students have used that you might discover to do a very creative kind of presentation. A couple of minutes. There's one cartoon app that students have found. So any way that you do it, okay, but it needs to be, it's worth 20 points. So, and then you have your lectures, okay, and this is one of them. This is lecture number 3. And most importantly, you have your week by week. Your week by week takes you through every single week of the course, and the weeks are dated because depending upon whether you're in the Wednesday or the Thursday section, so you would click, let's say, in time for week number 1, you would click on that week 1, and you'd find out, for example, that the class format is remote synchronous, which means that we're actually going to be meeting during class time, and it tells you what we're going to be talking about. This particular week, I put up preparation for class. I've asked you to look through your documents, to think about your observations, read all announcements, begin to get familiar with the table of contents. Then I'll have textbook readings always for the week. This particular week, in time for class 1, I'd like you to read the introduction and the preface for the textbook. That'll give you a nice overview. It's all on here. And then if there's a discussion board due, there's a link to the discussion board. And in this particular case, I tell you it's just the introductory discussion board. And if you click on this, it will take you right to it. It's not graded, but I would appreciate it if you would partake and participate. And then if there's anything else, so in this particular case, there's a link to lecture number 1. And I say, please listen to lecture number 1, which is the introduction to this course. So that is basically the way that the course is set up. And when we do have our synchronous remote classes, I'm not going to go through all of this again. It'll really be our opportunity to interact and for you to ask questions. So the point is that, before each of these things are due, before the class date, it's my hope that you will have gone through the week by week and prepared for it, especially if we're having a remote synchronous class. Okay? And have a great rest of the day and a great evening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.